Hi, and welcome back to History's a Blast. We're still in Savannah, Georgia. And after our short visit to the Ships of the Sea Museum, we wandered down the street a little bit farther to the Georgia State Railroad Museum. So come along and let's see what they got to offer. It's a really fascinating place. What we're looking at here is a shops complex that had its existence to begin in 1836 and expanded over the years. The Central of Georgia began here, and of course the Central of Georgia eventually becomes part of the Southern Railroad system after the Civil War. Here's the roundhouse with equipment displays, passenger cars, locomotives. There's a machine shop display back there behind the roundhouse. We're going to wander all through here. Sorry for the wind noise, but it's just really windy here in Savannah, Georgia today. Norfolk Southern is, of course, the mega railroad today that absorbed Conrail and the Southern Railroad and the Norfolk and Western system. But the Norfolk Southern was an independent railway at one point and became part of the Southern, I believe, before the Southern Railroad was merged into the Norfolk Southern system. There's a Southern caboose across the way, and I'll zoom in on that. So we'll go walk around the front of the roundhouse here. There's a beautiful streetcar back there. There's that streetcar. See how they have the center comes down low? This is a Pittsburgh style car, I believe, so that passengers did not have to step up from the street. Riverfront streetcar, beautiful. Little tank engine. Central of Georgia. There's a Central of Georgia diesel switcher back there, another EMD product. You see, there's the guts of a coupler system. Oh, this is an SW1. Yeah. Oh, you know what this is, Debbie? This is the difference between a knuckle coupler, which is a modern style coupler, and the old Lincoln pin coupler, where you had to reach in there between the cars and drop a pin through the holes to couple the two cars together. See the donkey cut out there on the front of this little tank engine. I'll bet you that's because they used, this was the shop mule. Little tank engines for moving locomotives around in the shops that didn't have any steam up or didn't have a diesel engine in them to move them around under their own power. Very cute. The shop mule. Savannah and Atlanta. Old EMD diesel. And they've got wood blocks for the paving between the tracks. In between the stalls. Wood blocks are easy on the feet, but they're also easy on machined metal parts. If you drop something on the concrete floor, you can ding up a sharp edge. But on a wooden floor, and these were standard in machine shops too. Wooden floors, but wooden blocks like this, brick size, to protect finely machined metal parts from, and tools for that matter, from being dinged up on the hard concrete floor. Here in Savannah, I guess they can keep everything open to the weather. No glass in the windows. The advantage of being in the deep south. There's a Southern Railroad car, heavyweight. Like it's got coach seats in the back. What's up front? Maybe that's a kitchen cafe car or something. There's the turntable. Classic old business car, observation deck, or observation platform, I should say. There's a, so you can sit there inside the car and have big picture windows to watch the scenery go by. When you see a round arched doorway like that, imagine how you couldn't get a modern locomotive through that doorway, but they, or a modern freight car for that matter, through that doorway. This is really going back in history here. We're going to go back into what they would call the back shops. The machine shop and the other shops that went with a railroad to keep that railroad going 24/7. See, they had started to demolish this facility when the Southern Railroad closed it in the 1960s. And local concerns pulled together and were able to acquire the property and to stop the demolition. So what we see here is we see demolition in progress stopped. Now there's a storyboard here. It says the workers' garden. So this was actually a garden. And here's a railroad employee growing okra. Vegetable plant supplemented the initial roses and other flowers. There's a fountain looking over there. Oh, I wonder if this is one of Sherman's bow ties. This is the legacy of the Union Army marched through Georgia and ripped up all the rails and put them on bonfires to heat them up and then twisted them so they couldn't be reused to restore service, destroying the infrastructure of the Confederacy. It's really interesting to me that something like this in Georgia, and Savannah is where Sherman's march to the sea ended in 1864, just in time for Christmas, actually just in time for the election in November that year. That there's no placard here talking about the damned Yankees. But there it is, there's a Sherman's bow tie for you. And I'll bet you that those rails are big enough that this is actually a replica, not an original. Those rails are too big to be Civil War rails, at least to my eye. Let's go over here and see what this building was. It says this is the Tender's Frame Shop, or the Tender Frame Shop and Master Mechanic's Office. 1855 it was built. So this is where they built frames for the water tenders that carried fuel and water for the steam locomotives. Oh, look in here, Debbie. Oh my. They've got a small steam engine in here, a portable steam engine. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? Smith & Porter, Charleston, South Carolina. That's a portable steam engine. And they've got an electric motor back there so they can actually make it move. And here's a little placard on how a steam engine works, showing you the valve gears and everything else. Pretty cool. All right, let's walk back into the shops complex farther. Another one of these arched doorways. Central flue. Right over here. This is the blacksmith shop. Oh, wow. Oh, Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. This is a Chambersburg high frame hammer. Chambersburg Engineering Company specialized in drop forge hammers. My scoutmaster was a draftsman for the Chambersburg Engineering Company for his whole working career. And that was into the 1980s. Look at this. Here in Savannah, Georgia, there is, in the blacksmith shop of the Central Railroad of Georgia, is a Chambersburg high frame hammer. Holy cow. Makes you proud to be a Chambersburger. On down through here, there's more tools, machine tools. Looks like a couple of lathes over there. You can see on this one here, you see that conical pulley sticking off the end of it. Those are for different speeds from a belt. There would be overhead belts that would wrap around, or an overhead belt would wrap around that, and then you would move it, there would be a wooden lever up above there that would actually push the belt above and move it from one pulley to one of those rings to the next, and that would change the speed that whatever was working here. It looks like it was another lathe, a small lathe. Turn around and say hi, Debbie. So our friends that tell me that I don't put my wife in these enough. There we go. There's one of those big belts coming down. Do you see the belt and pulley overhead? There we go. Machines are well oiled. This is their demonstration. Machine rack. Nice. Here you can see what I was talking about in this big drill press, where you've got multi-speed pulleys up there and the belt wrapping around the pulleys coming down to the power takeoff. See, they've actually converted this to electrical power from the old steam engine driven pulleys. But there you go. So there's the electric motor driving the drive pulley, and then there's multiple speeds down there and multiple speeds up here. And there's your drill. I head back out into the sunlight, back out into the outdoors anyway. Go down to the next storyboard. Now this building houses the Children's Museum now. Before we go there, let's go in here. The boiler room. This is the boiler room. Wow. Okay. Thank goodness they saved this from demolition. These old round arched windows. There's a very old boiler. Look at the owl, Debbie, to keep the pigeons out. See that? You can see how effective the owl is in keeping pigeons out of here. There's a sky rat right now. It's like, what? It's like, what? The planing shed and lumber shed. Okay. These old 19th century buildings that survived in use for more than a century. Amazing. Atlantic Coastline Caboose. Thanks for using Coastline. And this was the paint and coach shops and transfer table. There's the main line viaduct over there. That's a beautiful old arched bridge. Authorized personnel only. Oh well. Now this is very interesting. 3 rails. Narrow gauge inside, standard gauge. Very interesting. No signs to explain what that is. But it looks like it's 42 inches instead of 36 inch. 42 inches was another narrow gauge that was popular in the anthracite region in Pennsylvania, actually. Very interesting. And there's a better view of the viaduct. Taking the tracks, there's the lead coming off of the old main line coming into the shops. There's a diamond there going back into the shops and into the turntable there. And there in the distance is the old Central of Georgia downtown passenger terminal. Very, very nice. This is an extremely important historical resource, and appropriately named the Georgia Railroad or the Georgia State Railway Museum. That's it for this time. I hope you enjoyed this video and will take time to view some of our other ones.